All right. All right. All right. All right. I'm going to throw in my lines real quick for the border. What will be the next commission I'm working on? What's up, Head? What's up, mijo? Ay, mijo, pero no, mira esto, no, pero no. Is that is that Puerto Rican or Dominican? I don't know. Oops. Uh-oh. This is throwing me off already. Ah, come on now. So I just saw the trailer to Avengers Endgame. What do you guys think about that? I'll give you my thoughts on that. Good afternoon, Cam. What's up, Holmes? Um, I'm gonna go against the grain here. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody else's commentary on it. I'm not totally impressed yet. I'm interested in what's happening with Iron Man and his that he's dying out in space, which is interesting as all get out to me. So I'm curious about how that goes. What does that say? Hey Tommy, how are you? The Bristol Board Killer. That's right. I haven't seen it. Well, check it out. I thought the trailer for A4 was okay. Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I'm not. I'm just not blown away by anything right now because none of it matters yet. And I'm more. You know what it is? It's more of a morbid curiosity. I'm just curious how this Marvel universe is going to self-destruct. Don't like Endgame. Kind of don't fit the bill. Yeah, well, it might be that for the rest of this Marvel universe, in my opinion. I'm a little fatigued on MCU in general. Not negative, but just not thrilled. Yeah, Cam, I kind of feel that way too. But I also got to say that this next offering of movies doesn't seem exciting to me. And yeah, I'm not that crazy about what's coming up on the roster. Not not the pasta, the roster. When let's get together and feel alright. All right. So this is a commission of Miles Morales. I don't even know what his costume looks like right off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to find some inspiration for that. Let's see, what did you say? I was a bit meh first, but after hearing a few comments, it started to feel well done. Not a special shot, but an acting one. A special effects shot, but an acting one. The last thing was cool. The last little, that guy kind of got me back interested. So, yeah, that little last knock on the door, if you will. I don't want to spoil a trailer. Can we please? Can we please? Now that I want to see the Miles Morales movie. Yeah, I kind of want to see that too, actually. Uh, yeah, I'm just saying, just not overly, and I don't think it's fatigue for me. It's not fatigue. I feel like I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I shouldn't even say this because you guys are gonna be mad at me. People are gonna be mad at me when I say this out loud. It is not a popular opinion, but I'll keep it to myself then. Let's get together and feel alright. Say it. I'm not a big fan of Avengers 3. I felt like Guardians 3. Uh, I don't know that I mind that it was like Guardians 3, but I just didn't. I don't know. All this build up to Thanos, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys about Thanos. I'm not a. This is not what I was gonna say earlier. Heck, so relax. But I'm not a big fan of Thanos. Ultimately, he doesn't. He never really. I'm a bigger fan of Darkseid than I am of Thanos. I think Darkseid's a much more threatening character, I like my villains bad. So when they toy with the idea that he's got some sort of noble purpose, yeah, it's interesting, but it disinterests me ultimately because it's just like, oh, he's just like one of us. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind Magneto being like that, but to say that Thanos is on that level, just yeah, it's all right. What's up, Javier Salas? How are you? So, rant away, but be unpopular. How's it going? Getting to watch this while I'm on lunch. Very cool. Well done, trailer. I will be happy to see the film. Captain Marvel was extreme, man. Yeah, I don't care for Marvel at all. Thanos is squishy for his kid. Yeah, I like my villains dark and heavy. I like them being satanic. I don't like my villains being. I mean, So okay, I'll tell you what I was gonna say because it's not controversial necessarily, but people are gonna say things anyway. So I'll just say it. I'm just not a big fan. I think the beginning of the end of this is my opinion. The beginning of the end of the MCU, I'm gonna mark it at Black Panther. When the MCU became more important to tell a social narrative, when the MCU decided it was more important to tell a social narrative than to tell fun superhero stories, I think that's the end of the MCU for me. And while I thought Black Panther was a good movie overall, I should say I enjoyed it. I'm not sure that it was a good movie, but I enjoyed it. Um, like that's part of my reason. Um, I think the whole family gauntlet thing is too cosmic to make sense. You agree, Heck? Yeah, I think when you made the superhero thing about social commentary and not necessarily social justice, but just social stuff, it sapped the fun right out of the whole thing. And you might take that even further back to Civil War. I really didn't. I never cared for the comic Civil War. I don't like my superheroes fighting each other. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so having them having them fight on that, I don't know. It just never like Sinestro's clearly evil, right? He's evil. His name even suggests it. It's hard to make that guy interesting. Yeah, you can say he started out good, but once he goes bad, he's really bad. Killmonger maybe too accessible. Maybe he's in the movie he was too. I don't know. He just felt like he was. I was too conflicted about him, and that's my problem with him. Is when you're the bad guy, you're the bad guy. Now people argue, oh, but that makes him more interesting. Yeah, I get that. I get that, and I don't disagree with that. I don't necessarily disagree with that. That is, but I don't want to. I don't want to connect with my villain. I want to connect with my heroes. So I don't know where this is going to land us. I love Ant-Man because it's just fun. You hate him first, but then you feel sorry for him. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think Black Panther was a solid movie, but not the best. I think the peak was Winter Soldier. I would agree with that. I think Winter Soldier for me was the peak as well, because even though we were dealing with espionage, it was the kind of espionage and social, world changing events. It was the kind of stuff that was still fit in the realm of comic books. You know, social commentary, as much as people want to say this, social commentary in comics was not the primary aim when I was coming up. It was like a once in a while. God loves, man kills for X-Men was a one-time story out of many. Like it was not the common thing. Dark Knight Returns was not common. It was special because it was so uncommon. Um, kind of appealing. I don't think he was interesting at all. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. I thought he was interesting, but he could have been a good guy, and they wanted me to think, and so I thought. And then when I thought, I realized that this is not the kind of Marvel movie. I don't want to think about that stuff. I want to see Iron Man punch things and Captain America throw his shield, and now, I think it's cool to have a deeper story, but I think once you open up that door, we're now in the realm of 2001 Space Odyssey, and now we're trying to understand ourselves through the superheroes, and that was okay through older stories to be told, or for more mature stories to be told, but I just don't care enough about that to be preached to, and because I don't always agree with the message they're conveying. So now we've got this Captain Marvel movie, and I gotta be honest, I'm just not that happy with her. I don't. I miss her as Miss Marvel. I don't really buy this. I don't know. You could it feels I can feel the static in the air when I think about these movies now. I can feel the let me see. I think Captain America. Let me see. I think Cam says, I think Captain America is a great choice for the sort of spy espionage story slightly outside of superheroics, but even Cap 1 was a war film. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get novellas. LOL. You get novellas? What do you mean? Well, so going back to my point though, is that the the like I said earlier, the spies and Hydra, that's all part of. I mean, you could make connections, I guess, but that's not really what they were saying. They weren't saying that, you know, they weren't making a direct correlation to anybody in particular in those movies. But now there is a particular person to point to, and I didn't need my superheroes to do that for me. So I'm a little conflicted about that because I appreciate what Black Panther has done for the Black community, the African American community. I appreciate that. And it's not even fair to say the African American community because it was also for the Black community at large in any country, not just Americans. But at the same time, I feel like because the focus is so strong on that, which again was the point, and I get it. Now I feel like we're not dealing with stuff that was more amusing, that made it fun. Now I know I'm going into a politically charged space when I go into these movies. Um, the political correctness all over. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. So now what do we have? Now I gotta deal with this. I gotta think about what's the commentary. Even Thanos had a lot of commentary in it, and it's deep. It's about the world, and there's so much food and people are eating it all, and so we need to encourage the idea of genocide and no, but what if maybe Thanos was right, and maybe and I don't know that I want to think about that kind of stuff with superheroes. I don't want to think about those type of deep conversations with people wearing spandex. I just don't care that way. Drum more, talk less, unless it's about Full House and how Uncle Jesse was so damn cool. Shut up. What's up, Lafayette? Entertainment as a whole is suffering from a problem that is abandoning escapism. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Red Scare movies lasted just a few years. It will pass. I guess so, but the problem is that we only get this one shot with the Marvel movies, right? With entertainment, I like stuff that makes me think. I don't like stuff that tells me what to think. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, yeah. Leave it open. That's what I think about Winter Soldier. I mean, I was making connections in Winter Soldier that was like, whoa, that sounds like this. Even Civil War did some of that. But Civil War, I remember that brought up a lot of weird conversations. The comic did, and it was it was good that we were thinking differently about paradigms and that sort of stuff and adjusting the way we assume concepts throughout history. But I don't know, man. I just feel like we've abandoned what made those movies special in the first place and why they rose to popularity. um I got a funny feeling we're almost kind of going into Zack Snyder territory with these Marvel movies, and I think that's going to hurt it in the long run. Many creators today are just not that creative. They're blunt, unoriginal, and self-righteous. That's probably true. These movies were to enjoy and bring awareness of the comic books that many people heard of and saw kids reading. True. It was to it was to reawaken for the to be a reawakening for the comics, but it's becoming its own identity, staying away from the origins. Yeah. Lafayette says, I like Thanos though and his overall mission and not bogged down by thinking too much. Well, yeah, except this created a lot of weird stuff to think about now. Oh man, because part of it is you can't escape the part of it is that you can't escape the how do I say that the implications. You can't escape that. You can't run away from those things. They're there, and you got to deal with them. But because we got to deal with them, now it just feels odd. Like, are we really squared away on that, or are we? And I especially now that I've been engaged in so much controversial conversation about anything. I mean, we're making controversies out of like baking cookies anymore. You know, now that that's the case, I don't want to think about all that all the time. But alas, it's it's popping up everywhere. So it is what it is. All right, this is gonna be my Miles Morales. I feel that the eye book on the book over there is judging me. What is that book? Oh, I can't share that book with you, my friend. That would be bad. Zack Snyder territory. Oh hell no, that's the plot holes, poor storytelling, and Martha. It's not that. It's that. It's this. It's this. It's not that you can't. It's not even that right there. That Martha thing, all that stuff. Um. I think it's that it's trying to be more than it needs to be, and I'm already missing Iron Man 1. I'm already missing Thor Ragnarok, and I'm missing him. I want more of that. I think the whole idea that your only viable choice was to slaughter 50% of life is just idiotic. There were dozens of different possibilities. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. They try to make that like his key platform, right? Or one of the planks in his platform as he's running for president of the universe. I think it's problematic because what you just said, that there's probably other choices. So it sounds to me like he's just evil. In the end, he's just evil. But we kind of blew him up with a bunch of like he was trying to do something noble. But in the end, is that really what I wanted? I liked my favorite parts of that movie were the fights in the beginning. I don't want to be sad over Spider-Man. I mean, and I really wasn't. I'll be honest with you. I left that theater kind of flat. I was like, I don't know why they were crying. People were crying. Oh no, Chris Evans, he's never going to be back. Oh no. Oh, like, shut up. I never cared about that stuff. Never batted an eye. Muttman says, these movies have high stakes, which is good for the story. The problem is that heroism is being redefined. Heroes used to run toward danger. Now they share their humanity first. Just be heroic. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. We are just hotwired to see political commentary now. Let me see. Panther and even Cat Marvel will look different a few years forward. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's the same way we don't look at old 1970s movies with a different eye. We see them just the same way. I saw them as a kid, like certain things, but some of those movies were what they were. They were, 2001 Space Odyssey, for example. Since Watchmen and Dark Knight, everyone has been parroting dark brooding, which isn't nearly as interesting when it's the norm. I agree. That's it. They tried to make Thanos some conflicted character. He's not. He's a hollow lunatic. I know, man. That's how I like Thanos. I want him to be crazy. I want him to break things and like, ha ha ha, I'm courting death. They're trying to make courting death like it's some sort of interesting thing. No, he's weird, man. He's talking to a skull. That's not cool. That's never cool. But moviegoers won't understand that. They got it with other stuff. Listen, man, there's a bunch of plot holes in all those Marvel movies. Tons, enough of them. So we don't have to excuse everything. We don't have to always make, hey, I'm sorry. Speaking of excuses or apologizing, do you guys hear about Kevin Hart not apologizing for his jokes after all? on and decided not to be on, not to host the Oscars. How great was that? I'm so proud of him. Let's see. I get it. You don't want a message shoved down your in your cartoon movies, but Thanos is an egomaniacal villain that thinks he's right no matter what. I didn't even see political message being served. It's not a political message, Lafayette. You weren't listening. It's that they're trying to layer in heavier things to make it more. To that the only word I can use for it, I don't want to use this term. It's just over feminizing everything. I feel like it's feminine. I feel like it's. I like the aggressive, angry villains. I don't need them to always be, I was sad because I lived in this area and then I was treated this way. And yep, Ragnarok was awesome. I loved it. Thanos is an evil force of nature, an insane titan, not a benevolent politician. I agree. I agree. I wasn't listening. I was late. I know you were late. That's why you're always late. You should have been here on time, jerk. Just kidding. So yeah, I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I I don't I don't think these movies are going the right direction. They're gonna hurt themselves, and they're gonna try to be. I think Marvel's starting to believe their own press clippings. I like how epic they seem, but I like when Iron Man's like, because one of the things I like about Iron Man is when he goes deep, he's also being fun. So he's that type of character. Who's gonna be that guy next? I don't believe in Brie Larson's interpretation of Captain Marvel yet. To be honest with you guys, I'm not even sure I'm going to see that movie right away. I really don't care. Yes, you're right. Thanos was too soft. An Avengers and Endgame trailer looks better than the Captain Marvel trailer. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. You know what bored me in that trailer? When I see Thanos walking through the wheat fields, like, ugh, that's the least interesting thing about that movie. He takes a break. Thanos' smoke break. Maybe it's going to be interesting, maybe, but he won't be smoking because, God forbid. I miss that. I miss when characters used to smoke. I was watching Cowboy Bebop, and my daughter goes, "Man, there's a lot of smoke in there." And I started giggling. Captain Marvel trailer feels too much like Green Lantern. Interesting. Best villain in all the superhero movies has been Zod because he didn't get. See? Okay, I accept you back into my good graces, Lafayette. The writers don't understand the nature of evil in the real world, can't write it in fiction well. Well, I mean, I think it's true. What's up, Sketch? I think it's true that in regular world, and a person might be clinically insane. A person may also be driven to madness. They call crimes of passion. I mean, those things exist in our world, but we didn't need those. I didn't need that from Red Skull. I didn't need that from. There's this whole thing that has been going on in these movies where they're like, everyone's saying things like, all the villains are bad. Even Loki, as multidimensional as he's been interpreted to be, he's still bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still doing shady stuff all the time. Even when he's good, he's still shady. And so you really can't trust him. And that's what makes him interesting. Thanos, I don't know if I care. There's not enough there for me. I hated they made Hulk a cop. I hated that too much, man. That's another thing. But someone said, "Oh, they're gonna fix that or address that later." Like, I don't care. Hey, Cosmeti, how are you? It's Thanos' version of Gladiator walking in the fields. Yeah, I know. And I saw Gladiator, and I don't care about Gladiator in this Avenger movie. I want to see Avengers doing Avengers stuff. Hey, Mr. Stevens, how are you? I miss the smoking too. Sometimes it's needed for ambience and the character flair. I agree. I miss a lot of things in movies. Yeah, me too. And Jose Alicia says, Thanos was in a wheat field in the books. Was he? Great. I don't care. I remember when Thanos did it all for the, what? I can't, my question marks. All for he did it all for the. Marvel does give villains way too much not really bad backstory to where if they achieve their goal, you feel okay with it. Marvel does give villains way too much not really bad backstories. Well, again, like Doctor Doom. Do you guys need a Doctor Doom that's all like, I wonder if I've done the right thing. Maybe the reason why I missed that Dr. Doom was Dr. Doom because he got his face burned up, much like Lex Luthor. He became bald because of science. Like that's all I need from the villain. I don't go to that for the villain. I don't care. Now, if you're gonna tell a story about like Sin City, where everything's examined that way or deconstructed, then so be it. I don't think we need to deconstruct Marvel characters. They've never needed that in the past, and they don't need it now. DC tried to do it, and we ended up with DC 52 and a bunch of other things. And it's like, no, I don't need that level of deconstruction. I just want good old fashioned fighting superheroes, good versus evil, which is what I think we're really missing in our world and in our entertainment. There's too much of this, like, well, everything's gray. And so that excites intellectuals, but I don't want to be challenged intellectually by a guy that wears red and blue suit with black stripes that he sewed in home ec. I don't care about that. I just want to see him web the lizard. Do it. Go fight him now. Back in the days, Thanos just wanted to be knocking boots with Lady Death. Yeah, that's true. Cam says, my wife has summed up the problem as not enough heroes doing superhero stuff. Yes. Like even Doctor Strange was doing better. That's why I think I like Doctor Strange so much, even more in that movie. That he was my favorite part of that movie was Doctor Strange, because he was at least trying to do. He was like, no way, we're not giving up this stone. And everybody, no, we got to give up the stone. We are not giving up. Like he was solid in his idea. You know, if they sell well, says Tommy Sarkinen, then they will go that way. Customers decide, and you and me might not be the target audience, which is sad, but market decides. I will most likely watch some Netflix later. I understand that too, Tommy. I'm just examining. This is an conversation of examination. And, you know, I'm not mad. I'm just saying this is what I think is flawed about it. And I don't think that they're making as much money as you think. I got a funny feeling we're going to see that flop. Marvel 616, Thanos is better than MCU Thanos. Okay, right on. I was never that interested in him. Deconstructing characters makes me want to puke. How about constructing a story? Nice. Man, give me a straight up evil Doctor Doom in a good FF movie. Doctor Doom is the ultimate bad guy, and he lists for power. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Ultimately, I'm not saying that you can't have complexity, although it sounds like I am saying that. What I prefer, though, is fun. Indiana Jones doesn't even advance in the story arc. He doesn't grow at all. Everything just grows around him. I love that guy. Minimal growth in activity. And another one of my favorite movies, Back to the Future, it's more about just the adventure. And I think I missed that. In those days. The problem with doing too much superhero stuff is it feels like a self-contained battle that doesn't really have consequences to the general public. It's like WWE guys in tights fighting. Maybe. But I'm not saying you can't have a continuing story. I'm not saying you can't have I don't know. I don't agree with that, because a lot of my favorite stories that I read growing up were just that. I think that's a generalization that I wouldn't make, because I feel like we're getting that now, and it's like the Star Wars thing. I think what's happened is some people have said, you know what, we cannot lose. This is too valuable. People are going to come watch this anyway. Let's go ahead and do this, and then they're doing it, and like Daredevil made me think, but Daredevil also had lots of great action in it, and it was thoughtful. It was also longer, so I didn't spend 2 hours in one spot watching a movie going, okay. I spent more time going, holy moly, that was cool. Oh, that's very interesting. Holy moly, that was cool. Oh, that's very interesting. Holy moly, that was cool. I haven't said that. I didn't say that. I said a little bit of that during the last movie, but hey, obviously you guys disagree. Some of you guys are all about, hey, what's up? This is the best thing ever. And I'm just not, The problem, okay, you better agree. Okay, well, I don't agree. Writers who barely understand a character, what makes them tick, have no business deconstructing anything. Again, I'm not saying that Marvel's done a bad job with it necessarily. they're doing they're handling those characters, I think, in a healthy way, um, for their what they want to tell a story for. I just don't think I care for that necessarily. Vulture in Spider-Man was a really good villain who was sympathetic. I'm thinking you said sympathetic. Ronan was bad example of villain with no good side shown. Both ways can be done well. Yeah, I think he was sympathetic, but he was also evil. I mean, he clearly Vulture killed that guy. Boom, shot him. He's like a gangster. He's a gangster with a family. I get that too. It's like any other gangster. Gangster stories existed before, the Untouchables and all kinds of stuff. I am almost done with Daredevil season 3. Been enjoying it. I haven't even started it yet. I can't wait to see it. Tommy Starkin says, that was Cam, by the way. Tommy says, though I must say that actor was the thing that made Vulture. Yeah, probably what it was. Sketch says, I love the Infinity Gauntlet comics. This gauntlet is so weak. The comic series started with a snapshot and ended with the Ellis retiring to be a farmer after losing. This one is so weird. I'm lost. Okay. Gangsters, says Cosmetti. Dude, Untouchables 1987 movie. Love that movie. That's what I'm saying. Even if you appreciated De Niro's, it wasn't even De Niro's necessarily. Even if you understand the motivation of what's his name? Of Al Capone, you also understand, like The Sopranos. The Sopranos, they're bad guys. The other one, the one with the motorcycles, Sons of Anarchy, bad guys. One of the reasons why it was hard for me to enjoy it because it was guys. Sorry, it happened again. I lost you. Okay, Goodfellas. Goodfellas is good. I'm sorry, guys. My phone conked out, and then I'm back here. Let's see. Like I say, I love Daredevil season 3, and I would also recommend Castlevania if you like Vampire Hunter D. Sketch, I hated Castlevania. I don't think it's good at all. The animation is garbage. Darn, I was interested in that point. What was I saying? What was I saying? I missed it. I missed my own point. What a loser I am. What a loser. Actually, I have to stop soon anyway because I have to get back on this. You're back. You thought, so that's what I said. I get you. Villains are dark mirrors of humanity. Even if you are poor, you do not turn criminal. Even if you are betrayed, you do not murder people. You understand what made them do that. Okay, I can live with that. I liked it though. Quick question: did you play Castlevania? Yes, but it was all right. Wasn't my favorite of those games from the 80s. Are you talking about the modern Castlevania nonsense? I remember playing it on Nintendo. I don't know why this thing is drying out so fast. Hopefully that works better. Okay, I can. So it sounds like Elliot just wants some good old-fashioned action adventures and heroics. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's put it this way. I'll take it as deep as the depth of a character's story. I mean, it's not so much to say that does sound overly simplifying it, but I'm going to stand by that because whenever we go the other way, I don't know. I really do enjoy that. I don't know why I'm trying to change that. I do enjoy that. I also enjoy interesting, deeper movies, but I don't go to Marvel movies for that. So maybe that's my problem. I also don't go to Star Wars for that. I'm glad that people have, clubs and fan groups and stuff like that that give them a place to discuss things on that level, but I'm more casual when it comes to that. I'm not that interested. I don't need a social justice or I don't know what else to call that interpretation of everything. It just doesn't interest me. Let's see. I think for they got all Super Nintendo. Okay. Wait a second. I'm gonna go back here. I think I missed some things. So Netflix original, they are going to bring in Dante from Devil May Cry. Oh, I guess. Even if you understand, you see that what they decide to do was wrong and they are villains because they chose the wrong way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sketch says, no, I played the Nintendo Castlevanias before they got all Super Nintendo. Okay. I've seen Aquaman, you'll love it. It's what you're talking about, action fantasy. Yeah, yeah, I think I like that. Did you find they made Dracula too sympathetic? Sketch, I'll be honest with you, I hate that show. I can't watch it. The animation's so bad on that show. I don't like it. Cam says, I think that the stories that got dark or deep were in a pool of lighter action. That's why they stood out and blew us away. I think that the stories that got dark or deep were in a pool of lighter action. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Muttman says, people don't believe in evil anymore. Nowadays, every villain has to have motivation that normies can connect with. But I believe some people are just motivated to do evil. Bad guys can be simple. Aquaman is out. He saw a screening. Okay. Last week. High hopes for Aquaman. Yep, me too. Michael W, what's up? Exactly why they threw in Mary Poppins in the same weekend of Aquaman and Spider-Man, who's winning that box office race. I don't know what that means. Castlevania animation does suck, but enjoy the story. I can't get past the animation. I'm telling you guys, I'm an art snob. Same thing with comics. I didn't read. You know why I didn't read Infinity Gauntlet when I was a kid? I could not get past the art. The art was so bad to me. It was, I believe it was Ron Lim, and I totally respect him today. But back then, he just did not. He just did not cover. Or Jim Starlin. I never cared for Jim Starlin either. I think I appreciate him as a concept creator, but I don't like his art that much. So I can't run with those guys. But I might offend all of you guys, and that's fine. Castlevania animation does. I enjoy the story. Morning, Zion. How are you? Yeah, I like that story too. The eye is killing me. Heck, relax, man. It's no big deal. There's a time for light, fun, heroic action. There's a time for deeper, darker stories. When everything is the same, it gets boring. And that's what I think is happening. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't need Marvel to be anything more than what it was started out as. So if you're in that camp that feels like you're not getting enough from the Marvel movies because they're not serious enough, I would not agree with you, and I would probably have to bid you a fond adieu. Good day. I said good day. Good, Zion. Good, good. Have I watched the new Spider-Man movie? I don't think it's out yet, is it? So true. Ron Lim sucks, but nice guy. He used to come in my local shop in Sacramento all the time. I never read Infinity Gauntlet because it looked terrible. I'm telling you, I don't like. Hey, Dark Throne, how are you? I don't like. I don't read comics just because they exist. I have very specific expectations, and it's usually an aesthetic one. And if it doesn't meet that expectation, it is game over. We are no longer. I'm no longer entertained because the stories themselves don't mean anything to me. Never did. Never did. But maybe that's why I don't like some of what's going on, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. So maybe I'm the wrong person to dissect a thing like this, or maybe I am the right person. See, this is my point, because everybody can have a place at the table. The problem is when everybody thinks they own the table, and that's what frustrates me. So there you have it. Girls just want to have fun. Yeah, there you go. Trying to read some Marvel comics, and my friend won't stop bothering me for food. Okay, all right. I like fun comic book movies. Fun. I like fun as well. Perhaps Aquaman Shazam will be the new good stuff. Perhaps. I don't know about Shazam yet, but I have high expectations for Aquaman. Do you think Image should have been created in the 90s? I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question, but I don't know. I guess. Sure. It should. I don't know. It should have been created whenever it was needed. You read books with no pictures. Give Infinity Gauntlet a shot for old time's sake. No, I can't sketch. The art is so bad. Thanos always looked like garbage tier Dark Side. Sorry. And this is even when didn't care for Jack Kirby. Now I love Jack Kirby, but I still cannot. Some of these artists from the 70s and 80s, I just don't care for. In the 80s, really, a lot of weird stuff happened back then. Never cared for Starling. Never did. Everybody makes a big deal. I respect the hell out of him, but I don't like his work that much. Sí, hablo español, pero no tanto, no mucho. That the infamous Spider-Man. No shopping there. You read books with no picture there. I think that Watchmen, Dark Knight, both great, caused such a splash that everyone wanted to mimic that, and that's essentially what happened for 30 years. You cold, Elliot, so cold. That's funny. Yeah, well, that's me. I've always been that way. I've never, like if an artist was on a book, even to this day, if an artist is on a book, I mainly collect the book for the art. Olivier Coipel, once he was off Thor, I was done. And unless that artist has a similar impact on me as far as inspiration, I won't give him the time of day. And you can say what you like, but that's me as a consumer. So don't argue with me. I'm always right. See what I did there? Spidey portrait's looking cool. Good pose. Thanks. This is supposed to be Miles Morales. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm just outlining things. I'm probably adding too much work for myself here, but there you have it. The jerkmonger being a jerk, as usual. Perhaps you need dive back to Anime Land. Evil is evil and good has epic finishing moves. Yeah, I like that. That's good stuff. Rotwell says, I woke up thinking about your Comic Boy project. I can't wait to learn more. Ooh, we've been talking about it. Elliot is discerning. The word is discerning. Oh, that's funny. Way too much credit for that, right? I'm just being foolish. Yeah, I just, I never really cared for certain things. It's a pet peeve of mine. It's very important for something to have a feel. The artists that I grew up admiring were John Buscema, and it's weird because it wasn't because I encountered him. I knew that I liked his work right away because of what it looked like. When I saw somebody else draw something in the same vein, I remember thinking. So that's why sometimes it's hard for me to. I can't back every campaign or everything because I don't always like all the work that I see, and that's the main reason why I buy the book. So I can't really justify a purchase that's expensive for things I don't care for, but it's because of the way that the way I consume that sort of product. That's just me, though. It's Comic Boy, something I'm really waiting for 2019. Oh, snap. There be okay. Yo soy de México, saludos. Si yo hablando español, con él hablamos, somos boricuas. Yeah. Kansas, I think a lot of art takes hold in my mind based on the context in which I first saw it. It gets wrapped up in the whole experience. For me, I used to read comics. I would read them like in 2 minutes. I wouldn't spend much time in the book. It's like when I was younger. I remember I never paid attention to musical scores until I heard a musical score on its own, and then I became all about musical scores. But I still would buy the score. I wouldn't care for the movie. It's so weird. I'm a weirdo like that. But hey, I'm a lovable weirdo. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when Artemania rolls on you? You need to get me a book all the way here in Finland. I want the Comic Boy to my hands. Well, I just talked to my writer partner. Just so you guys know, I guess I can talk a little bit more about it, but I'm going to be working with Antonio Bryce of Brand. He is going to be my partner on that. He's the one that exhibited a lot of interest in the concept, and so far, pretty good. We're talking about, we're going to have a separate tier for international shipping, though. That's the only thing, because I can't afford to ship out everywhere. So I gotta make good choices with the funding, and hopefully you guys will understand. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, man. I never really cared for political correctness, and I'm certainly not going to start now. Like, people will say things to me, and they're like, "Oh, you should give it a try." Yeah, no. Why give it a try? It's just an opportunity for me to get sucked into something that for the wrong reasons. A lot of books were written in a way that they weren't that interesting in the first place. But some were. I remember Secret Wars was interesting as hell to me. I loved Secret Wars. Still to this day, haven't read in totality um, Crisis on Infinite Earths. I just kind of read the key issues, and that's about it. How much would it take to get an original Infinity Gauntlet story review? You don't need me to do that. You're on board, Cosmetic? Right on. Thank you. By the way, Elliot, Andy was great to work with on the commission. Right on, man. Yeah, he's my man. He's my business partner, and also my art rep. So we've got a great relationship, and we've become great friends over the last year or so. So he has all my respect, and you guys respect him as well because he deserves it. He doesn't get enough thanks for what he does. But yeah, look at that. Look at those lines. Conflict has an international tier with sketch edition, but higher price, which sounds cool. Sure. Crisis on Infinite Earths was huge for me. I still love George Perez. You know, George Perez was great to me too, but I fell out of love with him on multiple levels. But I remember his run on Teen Titans was my thing. I loved Teen Titans. That art was so clean. That was like an earlier version. He had already done his Avengers run, but I remember thinking that right there was. But see, also back then, I didn't know who the artists were. I didn't learn about them until I was much older, because I didn't understand how comics were produced. It was almost like magic. Uh, George Perez did Infinity Gauntlet. Oh, there you go. That's why I didn't like him. He didn't draw it like that. He didn't draw it like Teen Titans. Have you heard that Ironheart 1 is not bad? Just some guy gave it a thumbs up. Yeah, I did hear that. New Teen Titans was great. Yeah, I don't like George Perez. And that particular story I didn't care for either. Yeah, I remember now. He did draw it, but I don't care. I really, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean here. I genuinely have zero interest in that story. I just don't like Thanos. So that's another reason why I'm not as impressed. I'm just not a Thanos kind of guy. And if loving Thanos is wrong, I don't want to be right. Zach, yeah, I do know that. Yeah, I sort of prefer George Perez with someone else inking him. Yeah, Dick Giordano was always a great inker on anybody in DC. How Miles differs physically from Peter. I think I recognize the difference when I see them, but I cannot pinpoint what it is. What is it? Is Miles more lithe or little or something? I think he is. He's a kid primarily. I'm overdeveloping him here, but he's really just a kid. So yeah, he's what Peter Parker used to be, I guess. He's a little tall now. I mean, that's why I'm drawing him because I know Sarah Pichelli draws him a little more height and looks a little older. It's not quite a kid anymore, at least. Okay. See, yeah. I gotta keep popping up my head and check, make sure the thing hasn't. Art, how are you, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Or when a real inker comes in the room, I get all nervous. Art's like, huh, he's watching me. He's like, I know what's going on, buddy. I know what's going on, buddy. You're faking the funk, mister. I know. You found me out, Art. You found me out. All right. I like having the blue pencils underneath the ink, and it always gives it like a little blue glow or something. Sketches. I never cared about the art. I liked the story. I wanted them to beat Thanos. I didn't like him. He was pure evil. That what he did to Nebula and to everyone else was just evil. Well, I guess that's the I'm glad to hear that, Art. I guess that's the reason why I kind of went this way. Like I said, I've always been more of a creator, a world builder. I prefer building my stories and then telling stories, but I don't know that I ever cared so much for reading them. I like prose. I like reading books in that form. I don't. There was a lot of. I mean, it's very rare. There's been a couple of comics that I'm like blown away by. So I would say Frank Miller's Dark or Batman Year One is on the top of my list as far as books that I love to read. I think it has a unique voice. I think I would say there was a book by, I forget the gentleman's name, it's a Spanish man, called Roqueto. I love that. I love to read it. It reads uniquely, has a unique cadence to the way the dialogue is written. So things like that interest me, but just general stories, they all kind of feel the same. Also, I wasn't really a cosmic guy when I was younger. I wasn't so fond of that. Uh, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Art, true art is always number one on my reason to buy a book. There you go. Oh, I get you're a DC guy. I wasn't. I was always a Marvel guy because I liked John Buscema. John Buscema was my gateway into comics. That and the old Spider-Man on Electric Company. So, and I loved Spider-Man. I still love Spider-Man that way. But he's aesthetically pleasing to me. That's why I like that classic costume, red and blue. Uh, I feel that many good artists are wasted because of bad stories or agendas. Maybe. Street level heroes are the best. Yeah, well, I like the X-Men a lot. They were fun. But the X-Men, what I loved about the X-Men was, while the stories were, I mean, Claremont was writing some like crazy amount of dialogue, but he was writing soap operas, and I got it right away. I didn't need much more than that. I was fine. He told his big events through moments that the characters had, and those big events were big events that could have happened to anyone, not just one particular group or blah blah blah. Uh, Let me see. What do you think about Burn? I saw a She-Hulk picture, which reminded. I love the details. Burn was another one of my favorites. I was turned on to Burn on the Fantastic Four, but also on his work on Alpha Flight. So that stuff kind of rocked my world. And then the stuff he did for Superman was impressive. Yeah, I love Burn. I love Burn a lot. He's a big deal to me. Can't figure you, Elliot. You like a puzzle wrapped in an enigma. Why? I don't know. It's not. I'm not that different. I just like art. I like the artwork, and I like Art T Bear as well. But I like art. So it's the story's not that important to me unless they're of a specific, unless they're written uniquely. I've always just liked reading, and comics have always been kind of a basic read. They've never really been that challenging to me to read. So, and I prefer mythology, and when the comics were more mythology, then that's when I was turned on. I also grew up on the Super Friends and stuff like that, so that stuff was just basic stuff. It wasn't meant to be earth-shattering or, Shakespeare by any stretch. I was also grew up on Scooby-Doo, so there goes my initiation into horror and spooky. Art to be I like Marvel's street level heroes, the sort of low or powered characters. Yeah, I like those too. That's why I like Spider-Man and the X-Men, even though they're not really street level, but they can be from time to time. All right, I think I've gone as far as I can go on this item without remembering how to do the costume and referring to my phone. So I'm gonna have to cut it short. I appreciate you guys so much. I might have offended some of you, but I think in the spirit of all things good and holy, you'll be fine. And if it's about movies, get over it. And if it's about comic books, again, get over it. Get over it twice. It's gonna be okay. Grow a thicker skin. We're gonna get through this together. Trust me. Mighty Egbert says, some of Burns' drawings of tech stuff in Alpha Flight looks impressive even now. Amazing how well some of his art has aged over 30 years. Yeah, absolutely. Stop, you're making me feel old. I grew up on all that stuff too. LOL. We the same age. Great sketch, great conversation. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Have a good day, all. Right on, RT Bear. Lafayette says, art will always be the #1 seller of books. Not many people buy books for the story. Certain writers do sell books, but so do characters. But in the end, the artist will always attract the crowd for me. Yeah, that's same with me. It attracts me at least. Take care, Elliot. Thanks for the stream. Cam, thank you very much. 3D Robin, how you doing, man? Thanks again for the last time. I appreciate that donation. Tommy Sarkin, and you are good people, Mighty E. Be good and have a great day. Right on, Tommy. Because when he says, thanks for the stream, enjoy hearing your opinions and watching the drawing. Word up. I appreciate that too. Dark Throne and Sketch Therapy both say goodbye. Guys, I appreciate you so much. God bless you guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.